And then the guilt arises. I should be better. I should have tried harder. I should have done it differently.
Have these things completely gone in you? The guilt, the frustration, the anger, do they come up sometimes?
Oh, no. The guilt, yes. Anger still comes up, but anger doesn't come up as a product of the sense of authorship. It comes up as a simple human characteristic.
So just, again, talk about the difference.
People often think of sages. When they talk, a sage, in my definition, is a human for whom the sense of personal authorship has died. That has gone over the cliff. It's gone. They often confuse sages with saints.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, in my definition, a saint is someone whose behavior embodies the highest values of the group. So you point to someone and say, this guy is a saint, or she's a saint, because she acts in this way that we all admire and we all hold in high regard. Now, a saint in one group, of course, is not in another, because groups have different values.
Yeah.
So a saint is all about behavior, and we often mistake the saint and the sage, and get very disappointed in the sage when he's not a saint, meaning that his behavior doesn't match what we think is the highest.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because in my definition, the sage is simply someone for whom there's no longer a sense of personal authorship. Their programming plays out. Whatever this organism has been programmed by the universe to do, it does.
So is the sage the stage and moving on to be a saint?
No. They're totally independent of each other.
Why would that be the case? But surely the movement in consciousness is somehow going to want the sage to reach the potential of the saint. Because we
can't even agree what a saint is.
Well, yes, but somehow we do. If you and I sat down, I'm not saying we're going to do this, we don't have the time, but we sat down and we looked at certain qualities of mankind, we'd come to some kind of consensus. I think probably most Western people will come to some kind of consensus, unless they're too extreme in religion or something.
Unless they're different.
Well, there's always extremes in things.
Right.
And what interests me is that, and this is quite a central point here.
Yes, it is.
There's sages who act sometimes in a way that appears to be quite unconscious. And they get pissed off about something and angry. And I know I never actually had any contact with J. Krishnamurti, but I knew people that were very close to him. And they said he got really pissed off at times. He used to shout at the old ladies, as he called them, at the front. He didn't like some of the questions, and he seemed to act in a very unaware, unconscious way at times. And my question to you would be, well, why is that? Because for me, there seems to be something that isn't fully developed there.
No, because you have a fantasy of what this understanding is. You have a fantasy about when consciousness evolves, it's going to look like this. And it's going to be your picture of what is right and good. Someone else's picture is going to be different.
Yeah, but maybe it's not my fantasy, it's the feeling of my truth.
Maybe.
You see, and I honour that in myself, and I think, well, something here...
What if you're wrong?
...doesn't quite tie up.
What if you're wrong? What if you don't know, Ian?
Well, then I start going in my mind, because at the moment, I'm clear that this is something that intrigues me, that doesn't quite add up. And now if I go in my mind, I can get in a whole muddle, maybe I'm wrong. But I don't want to go there at the moment. I think there's certain values. Say you went out afterwards as a sage and went out and someone annoyed you and you hit them across the face, they were taken to hospital. And this is a fantasy, I know. But let's say that happened, then that for me would just absolutely not add up. And you could say, well, I didn't reach your expectations. You understand what I'm saying? I know I'm sorry to give you a hypothetical situation, but there's certain values that we have that I have, which I think they're real. They're based on something fundamental for me.
Right.
They come from an inner truth.
Now, if this man was trying to rape my wife, and I hit him across the face and sent him to the hospital, what would you say about that?
I'd say that was completely justified.
Okay, but you were just describing a situation in which I struck a man across the face and sent him to the hospital.
I didn't come up with a detail.
But you didn't know, you don't know what's going on. You're only picking out the striking him across the face, sending him to the hospital, and you say, oh, he's not conscious, he's not alive because he struck someone across the face and sent him to the hospital.
Well, I should have used the word, there was
the point is that you don't know. You don't know what's behind an act necessarily. And yet you're making a judgment about the person and their state of consciousness. And you don't know.
It's true I don't know, but I also know what I feel.
Yes, but sometimes you're wrong, Ian.
Okay. We have about 5 minutes left. I want to move away because the program's about you, not about me. So let's try and use those last 5 minutes as positively as we can in getting your teaching out there. Maybe we're doing that perfectly. I don't know.
I hope so. I hope so, because the teaching is difficult, and it's really challenging some very basic, fundamental beliefs you have about things.
Okay.
And so it is important that. And I'm not being gentle with you, but I'm really pushing you to look at some things that you are holding as truths.
I appreciate
that you feel, oh, no, this is the way it is. This is true. And saying, let's take another look at that, Ian, and see if it really is.
Yeah. So when you work with people over 2 days, you had a weekend workshop in London. What are the main things that come up for people that you see that are in their way? Probably
exactly what we just went through. That they know, that they already know, and they say, "Wait, I feel this, and this. I believe this deeply that this is true, and it is what you believe and what you know to be true is what blocks you from directly seeing what is." And so what I do over the course of these weekends is expose as much as possible these beliefs that stop you from moving forward.
Okay.
Into a deeper seeing of what is.